Hi, guys. Welcome to Soothing Sundays. I have a few questions. We're going to go over a emotional regulation technique to get you ready for the week. And I'm just pulling up my notes. Okay. I'm going to answer that in a minute. Welcome, you guys. So this is Soothing Sundays. Right now, twice a week, I go live to answer your questions and whatever you guys want to talk about, mental health, anything related to mental health, psychology. It could be something specific that is specifically pertaining to you, or just any questions that you have about mental health and psychology. My private practice, I combine mental health, psychology and neuroscience and quantum physics to help you get results fast. And like one of my things, and the reason I don't typically practice like real traditional psychology where you just meet once a week for 50 minutes is because I think that things can happen a lot faster than that. And traditional psychology, a lot of it is set up to bill insurance. So it doesn't happen in real, like the healing doesn't always happen in real time. And if you work with me one-on-one, we have sessions and then I talk to my clients all throughout the week. But if you're here, we get to chat in this live stream, and then I make videos every day for you guys to watch it. Also, if you have suggestions about things that you want me to talk about in my videos, please let me know. I love making videos that specifically address a question or a topic that you guys have in common or that you want to talk about. Have one drink of water, and then we're going to start the neurological reprogramming technique just to like prime your brain and program your brain to have the most successful week, whatever you want that to look like or whatever that means to you. Okay, so to start, a lot of people, the word Sunday scaries exists for a reason, and because people get a lot of anxiety around the week. And so we're going to counteract that. And I want you to do this now with me, and then I want you to do this before you go to bed. And this is something to do every night before you go to bed, if you can, remember, because you're priming your brain to be in a state where whatever you give energy to, you create more of. That's just basic quantum physics, neuroscience, psychology. So we want to focus on the things that you want. And this is going to really help you prime your brain to do that. Hi, Popeye Adams. Hi, Wowzers. And let me delete that. Hi, I comment to make you angry. Okay, so what you're going to do, this is the neurological reprogramming technique that we're going to use to prime your brain to have the most successful week, the most peaceful, everything, is I want you to close your eyes right now. And when you go to bed, you'll have your eyes closed too, obviously. Because you're going to do this again when you fall asleep. Why are you going to do it when you fall asleep? Because your brain is in a theta state as you're falling asleep. Okay, so anyway, we're going to do it now. And so close your eyes, or just like have them look down, and so you're just focusing on one thing. Eyes closed is preferable. And you're going to slow down your breath. You're going to breathe as deeply in and out as you can for a couple breaths. So go ahead and breathe deeply. Okay, and then as you exhale, I just want you to think about exhaling all your thoughts away. It's okay if more pop up, but just exhale any noise, any mental noise out. And I want you to completely forget about anything that's happened a minute ago, years ago, last week. I just completely forget about it. You're a completely fresh slate. Every time your heart beats, you're a fresh slate. You have a new beginning. So you're a completely fresh slate. And I want you completely erase. You can even imagine like a pretty color, just like a white, like wiping away anything that's happening in the future, because all you have right now is this present moment. And I really want you to lock in and remember that all you have right now is this present moment. Okay. And then I want you to visualize, like if you're weak, if you woke up tomorrow and everything just fell into place for you, health, wealth, relationships, career, everything, what would that look like? And more importantly, what would that feel like? So you can imagine like what you look like in the mirror, what your bank account looks like. And I want you to visualize that with so much like peace, all of the feelings, not too much excitement or not in any type of like adrenaline state, but just like it's normal. Like, oh yeah, it's normal to have this health. It's normal to have this relationship. It's normal for my job to look like this. And it's just so nice and peaceful. That's where we want to get. So keep feeling into that, keep visualizing that. Again, if you woke up tomorrow and everything is just how you want it to be, your health, wealth, relationships, career, what does that look like? Your spirituality, all of it. And I just want you to give that a lot of energy, because we give things that don't serve us a lot of energy. And when those intrusive thoughts pop up, I want you to exhale them away. I want you to use your breath to exhale them away. Every time you exhale, you lower your cortisol. So I want you to exhale that away. Okay? And I want you to keep breathing into that. And then I want you to add another layer and just be super grateful. Thank you. Even if it's not happening now, I know your ego mind, your inner critic's like, that's not happening now. And we have to do this and we have to do this. Let it go. Exhale away your inner critic and come back to the visualization and the feeling of having whatever it is that you want, of everything falling into the place of, oh my gosh, yes, that finally came together. Feel into that, visualize that, breathe into that. And what you're doing is you're creating a new feedback loop. You're creating a new neural pathway by doing that, because you can't have something in your life if you're feeding a feedback loop that is the opposite. If you're feeding a thought, that's the opposite. If you're feeding a pattern, so we're creating this feedback loop. And get excited for the fact that you're creating this new feedback loop for yourself. Isn't that great? Yay. So continue to focus on that. And I want you to saturate your mind with that. Anytime you are, I don't know, wondering, like if you're watching a commercial, you're at a stoplight, you're going to remind your brain to come back to this visualization and this feeling, this peaceful feeling associated with it. And then just say, thank you. That's my new reality. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we're just so grateful for it. And also, gratitude is one of those feelings that whatever you give gratitude to, you get more of. Okay. So it can counteract fear. That's why it's so important, because fear just creates things that we don't want. It's really a really counterproductive thing to do if you think about it. We were talked about that last week. Okay. So I want you to do that. If you just joined, I did a neurological reprogramming tool that is one of my favorites. I use every evening. You want to use it as you're going to bed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Visualizing and feeling into that. And then if you could remember to do it when you wake up. And, once you start reminding yourself, you could start by setting an alarm, but your brain will automatically go there. Now I'm to the point where like I can hear the words thank you when I wake up. So I want you guys to get there. And my clients do that too. Like once you train your brain, it's like, oh, what am I thankful for? Oh, I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful that that's going right. Boom. That's what we want to do. Doing it, locked in. Good. Hi, Peter. Let me see the comments. Okay. Hi, Lemon Edits. Hi, The Expansionist. How are you? Hi, Jojo. No, you're not. You're right on time. We were just doing a neurological reprogramming tool. So if you're watching this, or if you missed the first part, just watch that. It's a really important tool to do. You have to train your brain. Your brain is so powerful, and it will create whatever you focus on. It really will. That's why I'm always reminding you guys. It's like, oh, if you're saying I am this, okay, that's what you're going to have. And I strongly encourage you guys to not identify strongly with any emotion that you don't like. I'm sad, I'm depressed. You might be temporarily feeling that. All emotions are energy in motion. So you're going to vacillate in and out of them. So I'm going to start with the first question that one of you guys had. And I have a lot to say about this because I've been here and I'm very passionate about this topic that's related to narcissistic abuse and just stressful situations in general. So my health has been deteriorating fast. Within 1 month, my blood pressure is high, and even meds is high, even with meds, and it's hard to control. Blood sugar is high. Heart has been having sharp pains. The culprit, cortisol hormone, aka stress hormone. I work out every day. 80% of my diet is fruits and vegetables. No alcohol, no smoking. Root stress. I've been cheated on after 19 years with over 10 men. Yes, my wife did that. I mentioned in a comment, I'm ready to move on, but my health is not good. She continues trying to manipulate me, using my kids. She's acting like a victim, using me as an excuse for her betrayal, which is something that narcissists do all the time. So they really do not want to take any accountability. They have the ability to take accountability, but they will refuse to anytime. So this is, if you are going through something similar, please know that you're not alone. Like, they won't take accountability. And because narcissists have so much guilt and shame, that they use other people to offload their guilt and shame onto. So that's what they're doing right now, is to make you feel guilty and like try to manipulate and control you by like what you were just talking about, trying to manipulate me. And they use the kids. They weaponize children all the time to try to control your behavior and make you not counteract any of their what they're saying at all. So and we don't want the kids in that situation. If there is a way to distance the kids more and more, it's because it's really hard on the children and their psyche and nervous system as well. She's acting like a victim, using me as an excuse for her betrayal. So yeah, they're the consummate victims. I want peace. Good. How can I relax? How can I find such peace I desire? Do I do, and I don't want to be with someone else. I don't want to be hurt. Of course you don't want to be hurt. So before you can be with someone else, let's detox from this situation, because a huge mistake that I see a lot of people make is that they're like, oh my God, I got out of the situation. And they think something outside of them is going to solve all of their problems, and like usually another person. But if your nervous system is running like this and you're in an abusive relationship like this, your nervous system is primed to attract another narcissist. So hi Steve, I'm happy to help you drop your question. And so yes, I'm streaming from my computer, and I talk a lot about narcissistic abuse, psychology, and mental health. So anyway, so this is very common. And so that's the first thing I would do. Like, the first step, and I talk about this a lot in my course, is that you get to focus completely on yourself. You're not in place to be in another relationship. So I want you to decide, like right now, that you are in an era of complete self-care, of completely taking care of yourself and focusing on you and what's most in your kids, like what's most important to you, and having a good, healthy relationship with them. But I want you to put yourself first, because I am sure that you haven't been, because narcissists, they find people that they know will like won't put themselves first, where they can be like the center, and like they can just steal their people's energy in that way. So you probably have some type of dynamic in there, and that is part of your personality. And that usually comes from a wounded place. Like, it's nice to be generous, it's nice to be caring, but when you're sacrificing yourself and your physical and mental health, that's not okay. So I want you to first decide, I'm going to completely focus on me and my health. And then doing, again, like breathing techniques. I know it sounds so basic, but breathing techniques and breathing on a regular basis the right way and deeply is a wonderful way to lower your cortisol levels, because your body right now is like, I bet you didn't even know this, but you weren't even breathing properly half the time. And then your shoulders were up here and you were breathing in like the shallow part of your chest. So I want you to drop your shoulders down, do things to relax your jaw, and breathe deeply. That's the first thing that you're going to do. And then so the second, your blood, so all of these things, you have been, what happens is that like your mitochondria, like on a super like cellular level, like your mitochondria is damaged. And so, but it can be reversed. I want you to know that all of these things can be reversed. Like, I've done it before. I've had I was so stressed out that like my biological age, which you can measure, was like 10 years older than I was, and now it's 10 years younger than I am. So these things can be reversed, and I want you to hold that in the forefront of your mind, that I am reversing this damage. Okay, I allowed this to happen and now I'm aware of it, because sometimes things have to get so bad for you to be like, okay, I need to put myself first. I need to like really get out of this situation. So, and like a mitochondrial damage, so the mitochondria in the cell is like what gives your body like energy, and when there's damage, it's just from cortisol levels being really high. And so, and like your DNA literally gets damaged. Like that's why, you could get like premature wrinkling, or just wrinkling, or just your age accelerates because it's changing your cells. Again, this can be reversed. So another good thing to do, I'm going to talk about like actual, like on a cellular level what to do, and then on a psychological level what to do. And also, like I was talking about, our friend Carl Jung, the most famous psychologist in my opinion, but like very famous, he always talked about the fact that everything that you want, so if you want to like receive something, and if you want something healed, it happens on a spiritual, aka energetic level. So we have to know that and hold that. That's why I'm telling you to frame your mind as like, I am focusing on me, I am healing myself. Even saying I am healing, okay, like you have this damage that happened. I want you to now focus on the fact that I am healing. I'm healing. I'm reversing all this damage. I'm reversing my age. I'm healing my body. That's all you're doing right now, is you're healing. And then I want you to say, I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful that my health is radiant and restored, right? So that's why when you're sick, don't say you're sick. Say, I'm so thankful for my healing. I'm so thankful for my health. I'm so thankful that my health is radiant and restored. That's what I want you to remember. And then also meditation is going to come in really. And like, if you're not a meditator, I want you to try for 1 minute. And then I want you to try for 2 minutes. And you can literally go on this app. I have some meditations on mine. I'm going to add a lot more to it, but you can, you can go on an app and like do a 1 minute thing, 2 minute, but I want you to work it, because that is such a good way to regulate your nervous system. And by the way, it doesn't have to just be in the morning or just be in the evening. Those are excellent times. I do recommend that, but you can drop into a meditation, set your timer for 60 seconds, 2 minutes, and breathe. All you really need to do is breathe and then exhale away any mental chatter. If you can train your brain to do that, then you have more power and control over your energy and your nervous system, and therefore your physical body. So I want you to remember to do that. Okay. So those are the two things. Hi, Mr. Bill. And then so one of the things when I started looking into all of this, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to reverse all this damage, is when you when you go through any type of stress, but especially chronic stress, which is like chronic PTSD, which is called CPTSD, which is like a chronic stress that's happening, you have a molecule in your body called NAD. And NAD is like the youth molecule. It keeps you young, you repair easily, you're full of energy, like your skin is bouncy, all of those things. At 30, everyone's NAD just starts to go down. It just does. And so, but when you are stressed, it like can plummet. And so you want to replenish your NAD. And even if you're not, like, it's just good to, if you're over 30, replenishing your NAD is going to really help you. I mean, it's really good for mental clarity, having good mood, focus, sleeping well. Yes, you'll see all of the all the other physical results. You'll have a lot more energy. It's just we need it, right? And so for a long time, people were just taking NAD injections because what really gets NAD produced in the body is a molecule called NMN. NMN it makes NAD grow, because we can't just take NAD. The molecule's too big for the body to absorb. It doesn't absorb that well. So, but it was illegal in our country because they just didn't understand how this thing that's so cheap, MNN, like the supplement, it's not expensive and it works really well. And before, only billionaires and like that billionaire guy that wants to live forever had access to it, and celebrities. So anyway, it's cleared by the FDA. And so you can take it. And I put in the description, I put 2 links. So I work with a brand. I reached out to my favorite, because I'd go like deep with all of my research, because in my private practice, I recommend certain supplements. So I want to make sure that the best quality, because a lot of supplements can be like mostly rice powder, if they're not NSF certified. And if they're NSF certified, it's a certification that says, yes, this is actually exists in the supplement at a amount that's effective. So you'll see it linked, and I have a brand deal with them, just because I was like, can I please work with you? Your supplements like changed my life, and I love them, like, because they just have a high quality NNM. So they have M&M, and like another one is called calcium AKG. Again, like I'm sure you see it, like it's like big in the news right now, but that will reverse a lot of the physical damage and bring your blood pressure down. But and that's just on the physical level, but I want you to pair that with the psychology behind everything that I'm talking about, and really taking this time to, because you have all of this stuff stored in your body. Like I told you before, you have your brain here, and then your brain goes all the way down. Your brainstem goes throughout your nervous system. So your brain couldn't only handle so much. So it gets stored in these other parts of your body. So you have to release that. Yes, those supplements are amazing and they work, and you have to take them every day. They're really going to help. You'll see it. NMN starts to work within 15 to 30 minutes in your body. It starts to like upregulate NAD. It's amazing, and I love it, and I think everyone should take it. And especially if you have gone through a stressful and abusive relationship, absolutely. But you have to do the spiritual, psychological, energetic work, whatever you want to call it. You have to do those things together, because I don't want you attracting the same thing. That's a big thing. Like, people get out of these relationships and they're like, oh my God, I found this new person. And then that new person, lo and behold, maybe they weren't an overt narcissist, but they were a covert narcissist. In case you don't know, a covert narcissist is a narcissist that they're not like the Donald Trump, like all ostentatious and everything. They're in like, braggadocious and all that. But what they are is like, oh my God, I'm such a victim. And they have all these superficial relationships. They're usually very generous in a superficial way. And everyone likes them. They're just like, oh, I'm the little victim. And then they act just like a narcissist once you get to know them. So I don't want you, I see that a lot. When people don't do the inner work, when they skip that step, they start attracting another narcissist. So, and another thing that I recommend for this, to get rid of a lot of stress, is to do that inner child work. There is somewhere in your past where your relationships mirror wounding that you haven't healed. So somewhere, a caregiver, someone treated you like your wife is treating you, or there was some type of betrayal. You had some type of betrayal where you were told that you could not, or you did not deserve, and you weren't worthy enough of being like held in a supportive, loving, safe relationship. You learned somewhere that relationships weren't safe, that you didn't deserve loyalty, that you didn't deserve like stability. There's something in there. And so if you can find that aspect of your childhood, and we don't need to rehash anything, we just want to release and heal it. Like, all real healing is about a release. So can you release it? This is why, if you're not working with anyone, start journaling. And if you really hate journaling, you have to like talk out loud, like talk to your chat GPT. That's the only other thing I could think to do. But you can't keep this suppressed. Otherwise you're going to keep having these physical symptoms. So I think the best thing to do is work with someone. Like, all of my clients, they still talk to their chat GPT, but they're working with me. They're talking to me every day. I do think I'm not trying to plug myself. Like, you can work with me or someone else, but do that. Or take my course. I do talk to my course students, not as like intensely as like my one-on-one, but like, you can take my course and we could connect there. But you have to release this out of your nervous system. Okay. And so you have to do those things, and you have to journal, and journaling is painful sometimes. That's why people are like, oh, I'm not a good journaler. You probably are a fine journaler. You probably part of you, your ego that is just trying to protect you is like, no, don't do that because it'll be painful. Yes, it will be painful. It will be hard and you will cry, and that's okay. We want that energetic release. Otherwise, you're going to stay in victimhood. Otherwise, you're going to get in these toxic relationships, or even worse, you get out of the relationship and then you start gaslighting yourself, and then you start talking shit about yourself. We're not doing any of that. We're ending the cycle. That's what all my work is about. We're ending the cycle, and then we're starting something better. Your life is an evolution. Okay, it's a leveling up. It's an ascension. That's what you're doing. We're not declining. We're not staying in victimhood at all. Let me check the comments. Let's see. So just started reading. Oh, good. Hi, Peter. You just started reading Letting Go. Thanks for the recommendation. First time reading that stress is internal. Yeah. And I was surprised. Assume stress is caused by external factors. Oh, no. Stress, everything like stress and trauma are internal and they're subjective. So something that is stressful to you might not be stressful to someone else. So, and that's what, like, whatever you see as stressful or traumatic or triggering in some type of way, you have a physical reaction to. So yes, it's internal. And that's what's so empowering, actually, is that you can be in a situation that used to trigger you, that used to be very stressful, and be like completely, totally unfazed by it. And that's why I always recommend box breathing. So, the Navy SEALs, box breathing is 4 inhales in, hold, 5 to 8 exhales out. But the Navy SEALs do that because they're in these stressful situations. They put them under all of these different things, and they practice box breathing, and it makes them able to be like laser focused. So they're breathing this whole time in the background while they're doing this like very stressful thing that would completely dysregulate someone. So that, and like, there's a lot of industries that don't want you to know how powerful your mind is, but you have that super power to, like, if you can use and like reprogram your mind in that way, yes, something that's stressful won't be stressful. And then you could release these old things. They just start to come up. A lot of my clients, like, and let's say you don't want to journal, you're not ready for that, to do that on a regular basis, even though I highly recommend it. Start implementing some of these techniques like breathing, or if you want to do the EFT tapping, just look up EFT. It's like a very simple pattern. You can do that. And but that's what I was gonna say. When you do those things, like sometimes I'll just have clients do that, and then they're like, oh my God, I just don't care about that anymore. It just doesn't bother me. It just left, right? It doesn't have to be this big painful thing where you're in therapy for 3 years. I don't believe in that. I'm a therapist. I have all that classic training, but I'm telling you, it can happen so much faster. You can turn your life around so quickly. A lot can be done within 30 days, I'm telling you. And is that good for like the medical industry or like billing insurance? No, but it's the truth. You really have that much power, and your mind is really that powerful. So yes, stress is internal, and it's how we respond to our environment. I'll try quality on this stream. Hi, Marcos. What percentage of people are narcissistic? So it's really hard to, I think here's the thing about narcissism. It's a very common defense mechanism, because I just call it like the ultimate like lazy thing, because instead of working on yourself, you can just project all your shit on someone else. It makes you more and more miserable. If you've noticed, like, narcissists eventually, they don't have like real sustainable relationships, so they have to find new people to use, new supply, which I think is getting harder for them because so many more people are aware of what narcissistic abuse is and what a narcissist looks like. So there's no real numbers on like how many people are narcissistic, and I don't even think it's like worth really giving energy to. What matters, what I think is most important, is that you recognize that and you don't allow those type of people to come into your life, to have, like, your energy is so precious, and you only give it to people where there's a good reciprocity going on. And narcissists only drain energy. You know it because you just feel drained. You feel like you have to overperform. You feel like this anxiety. Your nervous system will tell you. At first, when they're love bombing you, your nervous system is like, oh, but even that is like, it's a very like high cortisol state. Like, oh my God, they love me. It doesn't feel right. It never feels right. Just like Nutty Professor. Yes, I can. Mr. Bill, I'm here. I am new here. Hi, Mr. Bill. Um, this stream via a BlackBerry. I don't know what that means. NM. I tried meditation, but images kept popping into my head. Undesired. Okay, that's great. Like, but let the okay, this is actually really good news. Do not shy away from meditation. And thank you for bringing that up. So when you're meditating and images are popping up in your head that are not desired, they are trying to be metabolized. They're trying to be released. It's like you eating food and then getting upset that you're digesting. We want to metabolize that. So when those images are coming up and they aren't preferable, like you don't want to see them, be like, thank you for being released. Thank you for being released. Thank you for that, leaving my nervous system. And if you see an image and you feel it somewhere in your body, like your shoulders tense or like you just like your stomach or whatever, feel into that, breathe into that and be like, thank you for releasing that, because that is your nervous system. That's actually a really good sign. It's your nervous system releasing that unprocessed trauma, the unprocessed wound. So I know it's uncomfortable, but keep meditating, Jojo. I want you to keep meditating, even though it's uncomfortable. I want you to, because these things are temporarily uncomfortable, and then you reap all the rewards. It's like someone saying, oh, I don't want to go to the gym because I got sweaty and then I was sore the next day. Well, yeah, but if you keep going, then you don't get sore anymore, or you only get sore every once in a while, and then your health is better. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the same type of thing. Okay. Images of, and that, you know what? That makes sense, Jojo, that you would see that, but I don't want you to hold on to that, because if you don't release the images like that were popping up, like it's actually, I know it sounds crazy, but it's actually a good sign that those images were coming up, and I want you to release them. And if you have a higher power, that you call God, universe, whatever your higher power is, thank your higher power for releasing them from your body. And like your higher power can do whatever they want with it, but it's just, you were just allowing it to release, because the traumatized part of you, the ego that only knows the past, your ego, your inner critic only know the past, and they cling to the past, and they repeat the past and repeat the past and repeat. So if you stuff the image, or you're like, oh, I don't want to do this, then your ego's like, yeah, let's hold on to that. But if you can release it, so when you're in that meditation, release it and allow yourself to feel whatever you need to feel. Maybe you need to feel angry. Maybe you need to feel sad. Like, let those emotions be energy and motion. Let them go through you and not hold on to them, please. Lauren, bye. Oh, am I pixelated? It could be my internet. I'm sorry, guys. I was a little bit late because I was having an internet issue. Okay, well, let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm really sorry about that. Pixelated potato. Let me know. I mean, I could try linking it to my phone if it's really bad. Sorry about that, guys. Anybody? Sorry, it's blurry. Unfortunately, physical habits are hard enough to stop, even harder with unhealthy, unemotional habits. You talk about reframing. How do I get disciplined to do that consistently? I'm the worst self-criticizer. Okay, that's good awareness, Peter, because yeah. So there's a lot in what you just said that can be not only just reframed, but you are identifying with what you don't want. So unhealthy habits are hard enough to stop. No, they're not. You believe that they're hard enough to stop. So you're saying, hey, I'm Peter, and my unhealthy habits are hard to stop. And that is your ego and your inner critic saying, like, oh, yeah, it's too hard. It's too hard. It's really not. You can make a decision to drop that at any moment. You can. Do you know that you're that powerful? Your mind is that powerful? It's not that hard. But your inner critic and your ego that's trying to keep you small and stuck in the past is saying, that's really hard to do. But it's not. So we have to change that core belief. If you want change in your life, your core belief has to change. You have to change who you are. Like I talked about in psychocybernetics, like his whole thing was like people that he was a plastic surgeon. He's like, sometimes people get plastic surgery and they became this whole new person. And then they like every part of their life got better. And then sometimes people got plastic surgery thinking that like, oh, I'm going to do this, but it's not going to be better. And then they got that result. And he was like really surprised. He's like, people like whatever they believe, like they become, So this is a perfect example of that. I need you. I'm inviting you, Peter, to change your belief system about what you think is possible for you. And you have to, even if it doesn't feel natural at first, whatever, like, let's take this first one. I want you to be like, hey, I'm Peter, and physical habits are easy for me to change because I have that much power over my life. It's really easy. And emotional habits are easy for me to change. It's just that simple. Like you can decide at any moment that you want to have a different, like, okay, maybe my baseline state was anxiety and depression, and now my baseline state is peace and joy. I feel, if I'm not peaceful, I just feel like joy every once in a while. Those are my baseline states. That's it. And then how do I get disciplined? You decide. So the how do I get disciplined part is, and I think this might be helpful to you, is like we have unconscious addictions to certain feeling states. And it talks about that in Letting Go, how we're unconsciously addicted to sadness, or just because we've been feeling it for so long and we have a trauma around that. And so part of the brain keeps circling back to that and circling back. But if you can bring that into consciousness and be like, hey, I'm like feeling this emotion on repeat. I'm feeling this negative, whatever, this thing that's holding me back. Or I constantly feel like this, or I think this about myself, and it's actually not serving me to think that way. I wish I could think this way about myself, that I'm just healthy and that I have loving relationships. It starts with your core beliefs about yourself. So no matter what, your core belief is, you need to change it, Peter. And again, write it down in a journal, but also write it in your phone. My new core beliefs are this. That's my baseline. This is no matter what. Like the best thing or the worst thing could happen to me, but my core belief is that I'm a healthy person and that I have healthy emotional and physical habits. Does that make sense? The difference there? And yeah, like it does feel like you have a little bit of an addiction to criticizing yourself. And that typically comes from, and I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. That usually comes from like a caretaker constantly criticizing us, and like narcissistic caretakers do that a lot. Okay, you can hear me perfectly. That's good. Thanks. Okay, good. I'm really sorry about the pixelation. I hope it goes away. If it doesn't, I could try streaming from my phone, but I don't know. That could be risky. Now that she cleaned up the street, I take back my comment about her being crazy, like done. Okay. Yeah, and like, I mean, and that's another thing, like, it's clear now. Okay, good. Yay. I mean, I don't know, but sometimes my internet is weird. Anyway, so does that make sense, Peter, what I was saying about that? And it's just like, and trust me, I know I'm simplifying it because it is easy to make that. It is simple and it's easy to make that shift, but the ego wants us to think it's difficult. The ego wants us to think it's impossible. I wrote a few, or I didn't write, I did a few videos about this. Like there's this one influencer, or there's probably a few of them, but there's one influencer on TikTok especially, and he's always like, yeah, it's simple, but it's not easy. It's simple. Like, why would you continue to tell your brain something is simple but not easy? It's simple and it's easy for you to do. Whatever you want to be, do, or have is simple and easy for you. I want you to say that to yourself. Your ego, the part of your brain that's always trying to sabotage you, wants you to think it's so hard and this is out of your reach and you could never have that and all these things. And those are just old messages that you got from an abusive person, an abusive caretaker, or someone in your past that is not true. And you get to say that to those thoughts. That's not true. It's not true at all. And actually, this is my truth. My core belief is now that I am a healthy person. I'm a financially prosperous person. I'm a very lovable person with the best, most loving, supportive relationships. That's all. That's all that exists for me. No, Tim, I saw your comments. I just like I've been saying, like, I want to help people that want to help themselves. Right. So um, when we continue to talk about the same thing, like you say that you're feeling this way, but you know, don't want to take any of my advice, like it's just hard for me to give space to people that want to stay like in their victim space. You can, it's your, you have free will, but I want to help people that want to grow and help themselves. Okay, yeah, got it. Growing up, not sure if you remember, successes were considered way it should be. Yeah, I remember. And any stumbles were scrutinized. Yes. So I will read the book, and the book we're talking about is Letting Go. Need to learn to let go. Yeah. And we all have things that we need to let go. And also reframing that. Like you can tell, Peter, this is a perfect example of where inner child work comes in. And it's called family systems in psychology. But you go to that version or versions, however many versions are of yourself, and you tell that little 8-year-old Peter, like, you know what? You are amazing, and like you get to be loved and supported and validated no matter what, whether if you got an A or a C on that test, or no matter, you don't always have to be high performing. And also, let's celebrate your accomplishments and celebrate you have to like go back to that version of you and give yourself everything that you wanted as a child. So that's where it's called inner child work or family systems work. And it's really helpful and yes, like when you do those things, like you'll probably cry, and you'll probably have like some emotional release, but that's what we want. We want the release because right now we're holding on to it, and the holding on to it surfaces as self-criticism and attracting partners that criticize us and are abusive, and like, so we don't want that. So we have to release this. That's what all like healing really is. It's a release. It's a release of things that are negatively impacting us. So how do I get rid of an addiction that I get judged for? Well, I want you to get rid of an addiction because it's uncomfortable for you. Anytime you really truly get over an addiction, it's because you have to do it for yourself. So to get over an addiction, you have to, one, it's important to realize like what, instead of just being like, I'm getting rid of this, that doesn't work. You have to look at what is it that you're trying to numb out to. And usually, because addiction is about not being in the present moment. It's the inability to tolerate the present moment, and you have some feedback loop running from some wounding in the past. So if you really want to do it right and let go of it, ask yourself, like, what is this addiction trying to suppress or numb out? And it could be intimacy. Like a lot of addiction is to just block intimacy. It could be from being seen. It could be from fully being loved and supported. It could be so many things. So it's worth looking at. And then I want you to ask yourself, Jordan, like what the why is. Like, why do I want to give up this addiction? Because do you? A lot of people relapse because they don't want to or don't feel like they're worthy of it. Like getting really clear on your why for anything that you do, but giving up an addiction for sure. I'm gonna have a drink of water. Okay. Great. Yes, you do. Good. I'm happy to hear that. So yeah, so getting really clear on that. And then I mean, it depends on what the addiction is. If you want to do a 12-step, I like 12-step programs because it's like a community and it's so supportive, and we need community. It's been proven time and time again that you cannot really heal an addiction on your own. You need some type of community, and especially if people are like really open and talking about the same thing, like it will, it's very helpful. But if you want to tell me more about the addiction, um, I could give you a more specific thing. I think it was Henry Ford who sold or who said, "If you think you can or you can't, you're right." Yeah. So I get the mindset, just need to set my baseline differently. Yeah, and then you just on repeat, this is my new baseline, this is my new baseline. Whatever you give energy to, you get more of. It's like, okay, if I have 2 plants and one of them is like peace and love and this like constant state of peace and love, one of them is anxiety and depression, and I'm over here watering anxiety and depression, it starts to grow and I'm like, why isn't peace and love growing? I want peace and love to grow. And then you keep watering. You know what I mean? It's the same type of thing. Your brain works the same way, your neural pathways work the same way. So we want to really strengthen that. And it will get to the point, and I love when my clients and my course students like get to this point where they're like, "Oh my God, I used to think that way." It's like so in the past, it's like, wow. And we're like celebrating it. We're kind of laughing about it. Like, oh my God, I used to react this way to that. I used to like someone like I would give them second and third chances. Like, isn't that I'm so glad I'm in a different place. You really like start celebrating that. And that's why another one of the techniques I like to use is like, for instance, if you have anxiety and depression, you just start to say, "Oh, I remember when I used to have anxiety and depression. I'm so glad it's not me anymore. I'm so glad I'm just like chill and like, I get to be so much more productive and like present with the people in my life because I'm not anxious or depressed anymore, and I give a lot of love to that version of myself, but that's not me anymore." So just the I remember when technique. And then you get to a point where from the I remember when technique, you can move over to that. This is not part of who I am. You don't even really, you don't have to even remember it like that reality. I share some of my things with you to know that, you know, you're not alone and everything. But even on a regular basis, I don't really think about it. It doesn't even seem like part of my life anymore. And I'm here doing this to help you get there because it is so possible. Like guys, I've been in the depths of despair. I've been in like, gone through a lot. Let's just say that. And didn't think I could ever get anywhere and I did. And I feel very passionate about helping you guys, reprogram your brain and nervous system to do it because it's so possible and it's so easy. Um I can't help that I type the same things over and over again and I feel the way that I feel. I have okay, here's the thing on about like any diagnosis that you have, and this is why I don't practice. Another reason why I don't practice traditional psychology is because I'm not here to diagnose you. I'm here to help you release things, heal, and like be the best version of it and get whatever you want out of life. But like a lot of times when people have diagnoses, like they identify with that, or like even with their like freaking astrology. Oh, I'm a Cancer, I'm a Leo, I can't do no. If you decide that's just another form of victimhood. I've been diagnosed with ADHD and I've been diagnosed with a lot of stuff and I never use that as an excuse. And when I always bring this up to my clients, like you are not that's not your identity and it's not a reason to make an excuse for anything, right? And and actually that's something that narcissists do a lot. They're like, "Well, I can't because I have this and because of this and like so it's your fault." No. You take full responsibility for your life and there is not any reason that you have to stay in victimhood because you've been diagnosed with ADHD or anything else. And people use ADHD to their advantage. I mean, I do like I don't even identify with it. I think it's overplayed and I think it's a way for the medical industry to just medicate people and have them consume things like drugs that they don't need. But like I'll wake up, I'll start making my coffee, then I'll like decide like that I'm putting on my workout clothes, have half of my workout clothes on, go back to making my coffee. Oh, answer an email, realize I have one sock on. You know what? Everything gets done. Like, so, I have the dishes, like everything's like whatever, it gets done. So, and by the way, like um anyway, I have like I do what I do. I have clients and I'm even though I've been diagnosed with ADHD, which was really just a trauma response. Like my brain couldn't focus as a child, had to focus on all these things and be hyper aware. So often ADHD is just a trauma response. But when I'm with my clients or when I'm teaching my course, I am locked the fuck in. So that's why I know it's a trauma response, and it is for most people. Most people use it as an excuse for things, and we are not here to use anything as an excuse. We all have challenges in life, and those challenges are there to refine and strengthen you, and you could even, be thankful for them one day. If you can share, can you give me an example in your life or something you witnessed how someone successfully navigated, changed their baseline? Oh, I could definitely, I mean, everyone in my private practice and my course students, I'm very proud of all of them. So I'll give you from my personal, and I have one client that she was like, tell my story to everyone. So I'll give you two. So my client came to me, she had a defibrillator. She was like super big party girl. She's like in her mid 50s now, like had all these like freaking wild stories, and like would drink every day and then smoke weed. And then she had been on she could not sleep. So she was on every sleep medication, like alcohol, like anything she could. Totally cool person. But she's like, okay, I have tried every medication. I have a defibrillator that I want to get rid of. It's not cute. But she's like, I know that it's in my mind. She's like, I've literally tried everything. I've tried every like drug. And she's like, I want to work with you and clear my, whatever that means. She used the word clear your mind. I'm like, we can reprogram your nervous system for sure. Let's do it. And so, but she was locked in, and she like really understood and knew how powerful her mind is, and that like, her mind was creating these things and her mind could cure them. And so, and then, she had a sense of a higher power, which she called God, because it's like, really, guys, if you're completely spiritually bankrupt, it's going to be really hard to heal, and you're going to be stuck in victimhood, and all of your stuff is going to get worse. So just some sense of like some type of higher power is really going to help you. But we did she just completely locked in on her new identity. So we did identity work. We did the breathing work. She was good with journaling every time something came up. And then anytime like she needed to process something, she would I was working with her individually. So she would text me, and like, she was very like, I'm going to process all this. I'm going to release this. And she was so dedicated. And within 3 months, she got her defibrillator removed. Like all of her biomarkers went down to like a regulated thing, sleeping through the night. She hadn't slept through the night and she came from all this trauma, like narcissistic dad, like horrible, like, and so she hadn't slept through the night since she was probably like a 10 or so, like that, because she left the house like at like 15, like gnarly, right? And so, and now she's in this place where, she's married, she's in a healthy relationship, she's sleeping through the night, her health is better, like at 50. She never thought that would be possible. And like, she's like traveling. Oh, and by the way, she had all this anxiety around traveling that completely vanished. She's like, I'm getting on a plane like it's nothing, because she really locked in, and it did not take that long. And she didn't go on no medications. She got off all of them, which also helped her health. And then with me, an example with me is the same thing. Like the stress I had from like years of chronic narcissistic abuse, and then I hadn't healed it, and then I was attracting that in relationships, and I'm like, why do I keep attracting the same thing? It's just like I'm dating my mom. Like, why is like all like this abuse keeps happening again and again? And so I had to like really sit down, and like inner child family systems work really helped me, and it was very temporarily painful. Like there was a lot of like crying and a lot of releasing in that way. And then coupled with what I was saying, and I put those links to like I started taking those supplements that, increased all the NAD, because I was depleted. My NAD was completely depleted from this cortisol, like living in that cortisol state for so long. So I reversed my biological age. Like I just got it back to where it was supposed to be. And then it started to, get like younger, because my NAD levels are so high now. And you could look up David Sinclair, like all of those, he knows all the science behind it. But so, and I completely got rid of all those relationships, friendships I had like that, and all of my biomarkers went up, and which was the best. And like, I also was not sleeping. I couldn't sleep for more than 3 hours a night. And now I sleep like a baby. Like I sleep very, very well. and it doesn't take a long time. I was working with a therapist that's like, oh, you're going to need to do this for years. I really didn't need to. That's why I'm so passionate. Like a lot of, not to say anything, but a lot of psychologists are my clients, and they kind of, a lot of them don't know what they're talking about. So, but a lot of people trust them because they have a PhD. I don't know, but I'm just telling you. Okay. Let's see. So again, if you're new here, I create this space, this like space, this safe space for you to come in to answer your questions, especially if they're personal. Don't write any fucking stupid comments. Like I'm going to erase them, or I'm going to block you if you write some like sexual, like why? Like fucking get a life. Like actually go on my channel and watch my things, like, and watch my videos. And so you could fucking get a life. So you're not on here writing things that are inappropriate when I'm on here using my time to help people, right? Like, please, like, don't be a loser and like write stupid shit. Okay. Okay, and it's not an excuse, I have ADHD. Okay, but you were using it as an excuse. You said, I'm just this way because I have ADHD. And I'm saying that no matter what your diagnosis is, no matter what you've been through in life, and I've been through a lot of shit, and I've had clients that have been through a lot of fucking shit, and I've been able to get through it. And I remember being in such like the depths of despair, and like, and I mean, my passion has always been psychology, but I'm like, oh my God, if you get me through this, I will do everything I can to help as many people as I can. Like, please, like, because I didn't even know. I don't even, and this is why I'm saying, like, you know, your higher power, God, like, is operating at a different frequency. Dr. Carl Jung talks about this. So you have this limited, you know, perspective on what you need to do and everything. But if you can just allow God to help you and come in, that's what people call miracles. That's what people call, oh my God, divine timing or whatever. It's like, God's always there waiting to help you, like at an instant, but we get in our way and we just have like doubt and fear will block it. So I just got to a point where I was like, please just help me and I will help everyone, like everyone that I can. And so that's why I started my private practice. And that's why I created my courses, especially my course on healing from toxic relationships and narcissistic abuse, and my course on imposter syndrome, because those are two things that, like, when you move through them, it's actually really spiritual. It's actually like this huge, like, psychological and spiritual release that just up levels your energy and your frequency. And I really feel like brings you closer to God. Will follow. Are you a singer? No, not a singer. At times I would accept fault, even though I knew 100% it's not, but just to not argue. Do I do right? Or okay, so this is another thing that narcissists do. You just get to a point where you're like, oh my God, fine, because all they're trying to do is offload guilt and shame. They will not take any responsibility for their behavior, so they will push and push and push till you're like, fine, whatever. And you'll even be apologizing for things that you don't do. That's a very common thing. I urge you to stop, because you're actually strengthening the abuse in that way. So because abuse people get so triggered when I say this, but it's the truth. Like, someone can't abuse you if you're not allowing it. Like, if you're not, and we don't even know that we're doing it. And I've done this before too. Like, okay, fine. I just, you know, if you've been following me for a while, I talk about my ex relationships, and one of the exes, I call him Angry Midget because he was like short and like very angry, and so we just nicknamed him that. So and he would just accuse me of things, and I would be like, fine, I did it, even though I did not, you know, but I would just be like, sure, just because you get so exhausted. And so and this is a form of draining your energy. I would very much urge you, Jojo, to take your power back. And if you just look at a narcissist when they're doing this, any type of abusive, because that's a form of abuse, if you just look at them and then walk away, all of the guilt and shame will come back to them and they will stop. Like, every time you just don't react, because they want a reaction. They want a reaction and they want to offload their guilt and shame onto you. So if you don't do it, and you don't have to fight back with them, because that'll be an exhausting thing, you just don't say anything and walk away and remove yourself. And that's true for you guys that have narcissistic or toxic personalities at work, you just do what needs to, like if you have kids involved, you just take care of the kids and take care of yourself and walk away. And that is going to be very counterintuitive because you're going to want to fight and you don't take any responsibility or admit to doing anything that you did not do. And I know that's going to be wild at first, and she's going to have a hard time with it because she's used to, offloading on you in that way and not taking responsibility in that way. Start right now. You don't have to make an announcement or anything. You can just either say no, but I would just recommend not saying anything and walking away because she knows. These narcissists that act like though they really believe, no, they don't. And I know that because if you accuse them of something, they get all triggered, like if someone told me I was like, that I look like Conan O'Brien, like a tall redhead dude, I'd be like, what? No, because I don't, there's no trigger there. So, yes, do not take on any of her bullshit or anything that she's trying to offload onto you. Okay, BK Advocate says, my problem is getting hung up on the past and things I can't control, not a good accentuating the positive. Okay, so let's reframe that. You're getting better at accentuating the positive. Your brain has just been so used to focusing on things you can't control in the past. So there is part of our brain, like our limbic system tends to do that. Why does it do that? Because it's very fear-based and it doesn't want, it's like that inner critic that I'm talking about. It's part of the limbic system. And it's like, we can't be in danger again. We can't. And it just constantly thinks the past is happening now. And it is trying to keep you safe and small, but it's actually not very helpful. So you have to say, I recommend naming that part of yourself and pick a name that you don't like. And say, hey, Karen, whatever it is, thank you for trying to keep me safe. I get what you're doing by constantly rehashing the past and worrying about things I can't control. Thank you. I know that you're trying to keep me safe. It's just not working anymore. It's 2026 and I don't need to be doing that anymore. Okay, I'm fine. And right now I'm working on whatever it is. I'm working on having a loving relationship. I'm working on increasing my financial wealth. And I am that. And I would also recommend like just stating those things like you already have them. And so I don't need to focus on that. Just start there, BK. Like every time those thoughts drop in, acknowledge them. We're not suppressing anything. We're letting go. We're releasing it. Okay. So it's like, okay. And I don't need that anymore. And then with things you can't control, again, if you have a higher power, ask God to take over, ask God to help you with that. And like really lean into that. Sometimes we have to have these moments of being in the complete depths of despair to realize how real God is in your life and how God actually cares about you just as much as everyone else. Because I've noticed that, and this was very true for me and a lot of people that have been in abusive situations, is that there's this unconscious or conscious belief that like God loves everyone and is taking care of everyone except me. And that applies to everyone else except me. And it's a really lonely and sad place to be. If you can bring awareness to the fact that you have this false belief and that you're actually as loved and cared for as everyone else, just like God is actually defined as like just pure love for everyone equally. So you can say that, like you can remind yourself that. So again, BK, we're just strengthening a new neural pathway. We're just strengthening, like I was talking about with the plant analogy. So if you have a plant called hung up on the past and worried about things I can't control, and then this life of love and prosperity and peace or whatever it is, you keep watering that plant and you're like, why does it grow? I want this one to grow. And you keep watering that. It's like, why are you growing? So it's like you have to water, and it's going to be hard at first. It might feel hard because the ego wants you to think it's hard. Again, it's not. You have that much control. But even if you have to like physically like be like, okay, I'm going to pivot here. I'm going to pivot here. That's why you've seen that intervention where some people have like a wristband to like snap when they're thinking a bad thought. It's just to help them create the new neural pathway. So whatever you need to do, if there's a sound you need to make or be like, okay, or like delete that, move over here, whatever it is. I talk about the brain being like a computer. So we're actually on this operating system of worrying about the past and being hung up on things you can't control, things like that. That's an old operating system. It's glitching, it's not working, it's really outdated. So we're going to uninstall that and we're going to download this new program. And it's called Peace, and it's called focusing on things that bring me joy and elevate my life and that. So whatever we give energy to, we get more of. So can you focus on that? Even if it's just like 2% more than you did yesterday, and then another 2%. And then you're focusing on what you want at 7% by Wednesday. Can you focus more and more and more and more and more? Because we have to create those pathways and weaken those. We're going to let all of that die by neglect. And soon you'll be a person that's like, you know what? I used to be one of those people that's always hung up on the past. And now I'm like, great. Anyway. Let's see. Can you tell us about the ACE survey and the science behind it? No, I can't, because I don't really like. So I used to be a personality profiler for the federal government, and a lot of those surveys, I don't like them, because I don't think they give accurate I don't think they give accurate results, especially if you're dealing with someone that like has any type of personality disorder, because they're so delusional about themselves, or they're trying to manufacture an outcome. But if you're looking for like a something that talks about personality, like the most accurate kind of assessment survey type of thing is called the Enneagram. The Enneagram. And there's no way to really cheat on it. I mean, you could still be delusional and like not get accurate, but it's really, if you like wholeheartedly and you could just go online. It starts with an E-A-N-N, Enneagram. I'm not good at spelling things. It's my favorite one. Okay. What's happening? Let's see. Sorry. Can you say why you took the NAD? Oh, yeah. I love talking. It's actually not NAD. It's NMN. So NMN, it just got FDA cleared because the FDA was studying, because they're like, how does this work so well? And it's inexpensive. But what NMN does, it's a precursor and it builds NAD in the body. The reason that taking NAD just by itself or getting the injection, the cells are so big, so it's hard for your body to absorb. Actually, what happens, like if you take an NAD injection or just a regular NAD supplement, your body has to break down the NAD, turn it into NMN, and then and then go back to NAD. So what NMN does, it's just straight into your organs, like the liver starts reacting to it and making NMN like within 15 to 30 minutes. And that's why it's so effective. And that's why, all these people that, only billionaires and celebrities had access to it before. Dr. David Sinclair is the one that was like, he's a Harvard biologist, was studying it and kind of mainstreamed it. So NMN is the precursor to NAD. You need to take that to raise NAD levels in the body. And NAD is the youth molecule. And if you have no NAD in your body, like I think David Sinclair is like, you'll be dead within minutes. Like you need it to just be alive. But the more you have of it, the more you have cell repair. That's why people are reversing their age with NMN. So it's for cell repair. It's really good for mental health. So I'm constantly researching different supplements to help my clients, because they're always asking. And I think that there are certain supplements that are excellent for certain like brain health and physical health. But NMN is definitely one of them. It helps with mood, mental clarity, focus, sleep regulation. And then it does all the other, like reversing wrinkle. You're not supposed to say this stuff, but it does. It helps with wrinkles. And like a lot of people, on social media say like, oh, my jowls went away because of, it does really help the skin and hair and other things. And so, sometimes it's marketed as like a beauty thing, but it's really on a DNA level, on a mitochondria level, it's really repairing things and helping like tissue and reducing inflammation too, which we really need if you've been in a stressful situation, especially like a chronically stressful and abusive relationship, which narcissists do a lot. Like in my course, there's like a whole, like we actually start the course like that. It's like, okay, let's get you regulated. Let's get all that inflammation out of your body. And so that's another reason I recommend that. And those links, so I went like a deep dive on like looking into the best NMN and NAD like brand, right? And so I love Catacor because they are NSF. Don't buy any supplement that's not NSF certified. It should say it right on the thing if it's NSF certified or not. And you want to look for that when you're shopping for supplements because that certifies that like whatever here's what it looks like. So whatever they're saying is in the supplement is actually in the supplement. And to a degree that is actually, has the effects that the supplement is claiming that it's going to have. So this is what it looks like. And then the links there are, so I reached out to them and I'm like, can I partner with you guys? Because I talk about your supplements a lot and I like them. And so, those are but either way, just get the links. Just get get NMN for sure. I would recommend Catacor because they just have high quality products. But if you're over 30, you should be taking NMN anyway. But especially if you're recovering from narcissistic abuse. And also, what I did was I doubled. Because the recommended dosage is like 2 a day. So I did 2 in the morning. You have to take it with a little bit of like fat, like yogurt or something like that, because it's like fat soluble. So just a little bit of something. And so I would take 1 in the morning and then 1 in the afternoon. It gives you energy, so don't take them in the evening. Even though it does regulate your sleep, but for some people they get like really energized. So not like caffeine or anything, but you're like, you're awake. So I do morning and afternoon with those supplements. And then the calcium AKG, there's a link there too for that one. And that one also, it's another thing that it just rebuilds cells. And if you know Brian Johnson, that's his name. He's the billionaire that's like, I'm gonna live forever and everything. He's popularized calcium AKG is very good for cell, like people's like your hair and skin and everything will get better, but it also helps the NMN. It does the same thing, but it's more for like skin and hair and nails. And it's paired with biotin sometimes because biotin does the same thing, but like on a deeper level. So but again, it's repairing DNA that's been damaged, calcium AKG. So those are the links for those things. Taking those things helped me so much when I was recovering, like doing all this like physical, reversal of like getting all the inflammation out of my body, reversing my age and like all of those things. I took those, but I was also doing all of the other like mental and emotional stuff that we're talking about. It's very important to do those. Amen. Let's see. Okay. Oh, come on. I thought this was going to be a logical stream, not religious. I'm not religious, by the way. I'm not religious. So, again, the most famous, in my opinion, psychologist, Dr. Carl Jung, that, we still like all of psychology is based on, told us that, we are limited, like fear-based people that are, just can only see and like kind of stay in their disease and never grow, think that they can just solve it with this or this pill or whatever. But he said that everything that you want and everything that you want to heal has to happen on an energetic level first. It has to happen which means like within your mind, like you have control. But yeah, connecting with whatever you call your higher power is definitely going to help, but it has nothing to do with religion. And like, if you are religious, more power to you. I'm not religious, but I do understand like spirituality. I do understand what I call quantum physics, but it's all the same thing. It's talking about what energy is. And some people get it and some people don't. So, I hope that you get it one day because your life will be a lot better. You have a master's degree in psychology. I'm not peddling religion. Like, this has nothing to do with religion at all. Um, and that's why I say when I talk about like a higher power, you can call it God, you could call it universe, you could call it source. I don't care what it is, but you have to know. I mean, like that is what when you're mentally thinking about something, that's where that comes from. This um the master key talks about this. The book The Master Key, I highly recommend. It talks a lot about that. Let's see. Is hacking mental health? Yeah, I just ordered it. Cool. Um, thank you, Miss Bunny. Thanks, but I'm a he, not a she. I don't know who's calling you a she. Nobody is reversing their age. You can actually change. I'm talking about your biological age. You can like there you can this is all you can look. This is public information. Like you can with if you have if your NAD levels increase in your body by taking NMN, you can reverse your biological age. Um or yeah, have it reverse. Um that's oh gosh. Okay. If you have any other questions about mental health, psychology, please let me know. Take what with black pepper? There are certain things you do want to take with black pepper because they'll absorb better. That's true. Peter, you just said about acknowledging your feelings versus suppressing, expressing them. How do you do that in real time? Okay, letting go, we'll talk more about that, but, like, suppressing them is, like, what I was talking about, that example of, like, seeing an image while you're meditating and be like, "No, no, no, no." That's suppressing, that's avoiding it. And letting it go is, like, just realizing letting it be there, feeling the feelings associated with it without judging or anything, just like, "Oh, I'm feeling sadness come over me right now. Oh, I'm feeling loss come over me." And if you could just sit there and observe it, it will go away a lot faster, actually, which most people are afraid of, which is why they're suppressing it. But if you could just release it, and then the other important thing to do is like, okay, I'm feeling sadness. Can I locate in my body where I feel? And maybe you can't. And maybe you feel exactly where it is, but if you can feel it in your body, that's great. And then it's like, can I release it from there? Just by taking a deep breath, letting it go, releasing it. So, and then just decide, I'm releasing this emotion. I can feel this, but I'm not going to carry it with me anymore. There's a big difference. Does that make sense, Peter? And you could do that. You should be doing that in real time. I have times where I'm driving and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling that. And especially if you're empathic, you might be feeling something that's just around you. And so it's like, oh, is that me or is that something else? Do I need to hold on to this? I could let this go. I could let this go. And even with good feelings, you could feel the good feelings, but sometimes addiction can come from I only want to feel the good feelings. I only want to know, like let all emotions are energy emotion. So we want to feel them and want to release them. Last time you talked about male female energy. Do you employ different techniques with men and women? Yes, um, for specific things. Men initially are more resistant to address emotional issues. Sometimes that's not true with all men. And in fact, a lot of my male, I would say the majority of my male clients let me know that they appreciate the fact that I'm a woman and I'm holding space for them to say whatever they want, like, and feel whatever they want. And they tell me things that they have never told anyone else about different aspects of their life. And so, and I love holding that space for all of my clients, but I do think there is something that feels very comforting about like if someone is the opposite sex that's holding, especially if you had like mother issues and like there's me like as your therapist holding a safe space for you. So but and in terms of like what I think about, so no matter if you're gay or straight or whatever, like there's masculine energy and there's feminine energy. And so when we move through the world, we are predominantly one. Like I'm a woman, so I'm predominantly like feminine energy. Yes, I have like, we all have both masculine and feminine energy. But when you are in these abusive relationships, like you become emasculated if you have like a predominantly masculine energy. If you're a woman, you're your feminine energy goes away where you're just like always on guard, like you just feel and look haggard. You don't feel like you can just relax and trust. So I help people balance like their feminine energy if they're a woman or masculine energy. So and when we're not in the energy that we're supposed to be in, it does feel off. You feel like emasculated and low, or you just feel like you don't feel like feminine. And what also is terrible about this is like, let's say you're a woman and like you don't feel feminine because you're just constantly being emotionally abused, and then the narcissist will be like, oh, you're not like cute or sexy, or like, why is your hair falling out? It's like, well, because this relationship is stressing me out, you know. So but yeah, and it's so different with especially my individual clients. Like it's so tailored to you, you know. But yes, like masculine and feminine energy are different, and a lot of times when someone's coming out of a abusive relationship, I'm helping them get back fully in their feminine or get back fully in their masculine, you know, because, you know, a lot of my male clients are like so emasculated. They're so like, oh my God, I'll just do whatever they say and da da da. And they just forget like who they are, they're this like actual masculine, like, you know, strong energy. They forget that, you know, because they had that drained out of them. People with split personality also have split abnormalities. Like, oh yeah, you're talking about dissociative identity disorder, which used to be called like split personalities or multiple personalities, because it could be more than one. You could have like many of them, which is it's just a survival mechanism. It's really interesting how the nervous system can do that. It's actually fascinating to me. Um, YouTube, not all psychology is based on no, not all psychology is based on Carl Jung. I just think that um, you know, he was one of the grandfathers of every other branch of psychology. A lot of things stem back to him and Freud, and his work is just so complete. Much of his work, I don't think his work is quackery. I just think that some people that think it's quackery don't get it. Like the collective unconscious, there is proof of that, and we do have that. It's like, and this is what I mean, like some people don't get it until maybe something happens and then you get it. But you know, if it doesn't resonate with you, then it doesn't resonate with you, and you could do something that does resonate with you. But again, it's not quackery. It's what a lot of psychology is based on, and this is how you can heal so fast. Like this is why I'm telling you, you do not, like a lot of traditional psychology, it's like Freudian is like, oh, you need therapy for this amount of time, which is kind of like narcissistic. Like the therapist is like, I have the all know. And then with Jungian, it's like, no, the power is within you. Like I'm not this all being like, you need me to heal. Like a lot of other branches of psychology kind of root from that. And Jungian psychology was like, you have the power within you. Something it powered you, and you get to have your power back, and it's within you. And if you can understand that, like beyond this, like physical, it's like on an energetic, which is just your thoughts. Like your thoughts are energy. And so when someone's like, oh, the collective unconscious isn't real, that's like saying your thoughts aren't real. Well, how do I prove? Like if I'm thinking of a copper cup right now, if I'm just thinking of it, how do you have proof of that? Well, it's your experience. Do you see what I'm saying? Like that's why it doesn't make sense when people like try to, I mean, I just think that some people don't understand it, and that's okay. Thank you, BK. I love how you're intelligent. I love how you're an intellectual without being formal. You speak intelligently on a friendship. Yeah, I mean, thank you. Thank you. A comment to make you angry. And like that is my personality, and that's who I am. Like all my clients are like my friends to me, and my course students, like that take my courses, like I keep in touch with them, because I don't believe in like, oh, I'm your therapist, let me be all clinical. Like how sanitized is that? Like when you're talking about something that's so deeply personal to you. So yes, I mean, I have all of that knowledge, but I'm also like pretty real, you know, even when people don't want to hear it, I'm like pretty fucking real. I know you have a lot more experience in terms of learning and addressing emotions. How do you feel what do you feel is most challenging for you, and you seem to continue to learn on a day-to-day basis? What do I feel like is most challenging? for you. And like, I mean, things are different. Like at different times in your life, different things are challenging. And I don't even think of it as like challenging. It's just like there's different opportunities for growth, right? I think as someone that cares a lot about helping other people, it's always important for me to have boundaries, right? That's why I never go over like 2 hours on these things. I could be here all night, but you have to have different boundaries. I think that anyone that has a caring side or has empathy, and yeah, I continue. Guys, don't ever go to anyone that isn't continuing to learn on a regular basis. Like I feel like this is like my vocation. This is my calling, and there's always more to learn. And then like as technology advances and all these things, like for instance, like NMN, the thing I've been talking about, NMN just got approved. It's like the most exciting thing. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting to, tell all my clients about it and everything. And that didn't exist before. It's like everything, we're always progressing. So we always have to, stay on top of. That's one of the things I highly recommend. Like when you're thinking about hiring a coach or a therapist or psychologist, ask them what they do. Do they go to therapy? What are they doing to work on themselves? What modalities do they use? Don't go to a therapist or anyone that just uses one modality. That's my opinion. Unless you want to go for a specific thing and it's only for a few sessions, like hypnotherapy or something. But if you want an ongoing like healing experience, like you want someone with a big tool kit, so to speak. But yeah, on a regular basis, I'm always meditating. I'm always getting deeper into like understanding quantum physics and psychology and whatever I can to like help you guys and myself. Yeah. Yes, the idea is fascinating. Don't talk shit about girl. Yeah, don't talk shit. I mean, some people just don't get it. I comment to make you angry. And like, it's kind of like I say this sometimes, it's kind of like those people, like everyone is at different levels of consciousness. That's what spiral dynamics talks about, actually. It's like, so maybe, there are certain things that I thought were silly and now I get it. I didn't have the capacity to understand it then. And now I do. And now it's cool that I do. And it's, I like that. And so, but you just never want to be like closed-minded about anything. Like even if, someone's telling me something, a client might be like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. Like, I remember when like, Ozempic and all that stuff first came out and a lot of my clients were asking about it. I'm like, there's not enough research. I don't know what to tell you. And still the research is still coming out. And so, but did I automatically like shut it? No, because I didn't know. And like, frankly, they didn't know either. But, you have to, I think that you're going to get a lot farther in life and get what you want a lot faster if you're like open-minded, like, oh, maybe I don't know everything about that. Maybe, just make informed decisions and be willing to learn new things. That's right. We still don't know where or how memories are stored. No, not completely. I mean, they are stored like they're stored physically, but like, yeah, this whole thing about like, oh, Carl Jung, because the collective, because you can't see it, like you really need to only see things in this 3D to believe, then you're a 3D person. And if you don't know what that means, look up 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, and 7D, because those are different levels of consciousness. So some people are just like very on the 3D level, and if you're like in the 3D, what people call the matrix, you are very easy to manipulate and control. So I would think about expanding your understanding of things. That's my opinion. This might be a weird question. Did all these emotional issues progressively expand or get worse with human history? No, I don't think so. Are there lessons to be? They didn't expand or get worse. There's just more awareness of them now. And when there's more awareness of them now, I think they actually get better. Like all the awareness people have of narcissism, like narcissists are disabled because of that now. Like as in the past, especially what I hear from my clients that are in their like 60s and 70s, it's like you just dealt with those people. Or even with alcoholism, they just used to send you to an insane asylum. And now we know more things. So I think it actually gets better. Are there lessons to be learned from past? Well, yeah, of course. We want to learn from, if you don't learn from the past, you're going to repeat it. So we want to learn from the past and release it. That's why I'm always saying, guys, you are not a Civil War reenactor, okay? Why are you fucking reliving the past? Why do you keep reliving that shit, like that trauma? Why do you keep reliving it? And for the two of you that might be watching this, that like that's your actual profession, then leave it at work, okay? But you are not a Civil War reenactor. Okay, you don't need to relive you don't want to stay in victimhood. You don't want to, no. We can acknowledge that happened and we're not repeating it, right? Like, it's kind of like, okay, slavery happened. Let's keep that. No. Okay. We are learning from the past and getting better. The past is there to inform you. It's like, okay, don't want that anymore. I'm releasing it and moving on. We'll ever be able, I don't know if we'll be able to record our dreams. So if you remember, my marriage is failing for first time. I'm self-reflecting and know I have a lot of work to do. I understand I can't change the past, but trying to stay present and work on. Yeah, that's what you have to do, is stay in the present moment and work on yourself, and release the past, but not repeat it. And, doing the inner work, working with someone. You could watch my videos on YouTube, but like constantly focusing on you is what's going to help. And yes, Peter, I do remember that like your thing was like there was a deep codependency thing. So you have to create new patterns and new neural pathways around not doing that, around putting yourself first. It's never going to go well if you're putting others first. You're going to keep attracting the same thing, keep doing the same thing. Speaking of big toolkit, 6-3. Oh gosh. All right, guys. That was a fun round of questions. So again, if you missed the first part of this stream, go back to that and watch or do that exercise. And I want you to go to bed doing that. I want that to be a nightly routine for you. Every time you go to bed, you're going to visualize and feel exactly what it is to have that. Like if your life was exactly how you wanted it. Okay. And you're going to feel into that like you have it. And I want you to say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I want you to wake up saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are here to reprogram our brain to live like the highest and best life for ourselves and have the highest and best outcome. Your mind controls so much. Like you have more power than you think you do. Okay. That's why like even in like different spiritual practices, if you are religious, I'm not putting down religion. I'm just not religious, but they talk about like the kingdom is within all of those things. It's because like your power is in your mind. It's not outside. It's not in a pill. It's not from another person. You can change anything you want in life. I don't care how traumatized you are from the past. And trust me, I've been there. You can change it. And that's a big part of what I do, is because it's like, if I can heal from this, I know you can too. And I love watching you guys heal and level up and talk about your successes. It's so fun for me. Appreciate it. Do you have any tips to make journaling? Journaling is efficient. Okay. Do I have any tips to make Okay, first of all, my biggest tip is for you to journal and know that it's efficient and useful. Like I was talking about with my client, she was able to progress so fast because she had reached the depths of like, she had hit rock bottom and she's like, I have tried everything else. I know that this can only be fixed like through the power of my mind. And I'm here, I'm ready like to be your client and all this stuff. So she knew that journaling was efficient and useful. She knew that everything that she was doing was efficient and useful. If you're doing something, you're like, well, it's not going to work. I don't know how useful, then it's not. Okay. So we have to decide that I am doing these things. I am bettering my health. I'm bettering. And so it's like I know that you know the study about like the placebo effects and how they constantly do these placebo things. And the people that had the placebo had almost as good as results or sometimes better than the people that had the whatever the pill was, because your mind is that powerful. And there's a lot of industries in place that don't want you to know that. You get to decide, I'm investing in myself and I am doing this. And because I'm doing this, it is going to be useful and efficient. That's like saying, You know what? Do you have any tips for drinking water so I'm hydrated? Well, the water is hydrating. The journaling is useful and efficient, but you have to do it and you have to, know, and actually like maybe that's not a perfect analogy, but what I'm saying is it is, but you have to put your energy and that's like really getting out of like that victim space, that unconscious victim space of like, it's not being, I don't know. Cause and I used to really have this like it works for everyone but me and blah blah. And I was told that when I was young, like so, and I had that programming, like everyone is better than me, everyone it works, everyone gets to have this, but me. So really noticing that you're doing that and then saying, I'm doing this and it's going to be useful and efficient. Everything I do. And honestly, Peter, that comes from, you talked about it, but like when you put yourself, there's a fear. Like codependents have a fear of putting themselves first because it's like, if I put myself first, something bad will happen. If I do something for myself, it'll be dangerous. So the ego part of your mind that's trying to keep you small is saying like, oh, that's not going to be, don't even bother doing it because it's not going to be helpful. When really it is. Yes, journaling is efficient. I comment to make you angry. Lauren, you said that with authority. Yeah. I'm just passionate about it. I'm passionate about helping you guys. And I don't want that little fucker. I'm telling you, name your ego, name your inner critic. In psychology, they call it the ego mind. But name your inner critic, your inner it's called the inner saboteur, like the part that's sabotaging you, whatever wants to sabotage you or keep you small, whatever that part of you that has those fear-based thoughts, name that person, name that part of you, and name it a name you don't like, because that is not you. Your fears are not you. Whatever's trying to keep you small is not you. I really hope at some point I come back to this journal and share my, yes, you will. You will. Let's change that hope to will. I will. I will come back to this. That's another thing. Like I don't really like the word hope because hope is like, oh, maybe it's out there. No, you will. So you will come back to this and you'll be like, oh my God, I'm so different. Maybe reframing it. I will come back. Yeah, exactly. There you go. I should have read the whole thing. We'll continue to visit back to this channel to help my journey. Yes, Peter, I'm so glad that you found my channel and I'm here to help. Excellent questions. I comment to make you angry. Oh, I sent you something on WhatsApp. I don't know. I I saw that. I haven't had a chance to look at it. If not, I apologize. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to read it yet because it was a little long. That little yes, my colorful language. Peter says that was funny. How to drink water. Yeah, I mean, it's just I'm just trying to draw an analogy, but yes, so journaling is helpful and efficient. And even if you write down, I'm starting this journal and I don't know what to say, start there. Okay, you're just starting to show up for yourself. It'll feel awkward and it'll feel, it might not feel completely natural at first, but it will soon feel very natural. Okay, good. I'm glad you got it. A little long. It's a video. Yeah, no, I saw it. I saw but I thought you wrote something above that. But anyway, I haven't had a chance to look at it. I apologize. Because, even when, in the link in my bio, it connects to a number which connects to WhatsApp. If you don't have WhatsApp, you can contact me on that number. And so, I'm constantly taking requests and like, just seeing if you're a good fit for my private practice or a course or like how I can. So it's kind of like, yes. So I haven't had a chance to check out the video yet. Okay. But thank you for sending it. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up, you guys. Have a great Sunday. Get to bed at a good hour so you get nice like amount of sleep. Take very good care of yourself. Thank you for showing up and all of your wonderful questions and your presence. I love holding this space for you guys. And I will see you midweek. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do Wednesday or Thursday yet, but I'll let you know. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, but my next one will be either Wednesday or Thursday. Um, thank you so much. You're welcome. Later, guys. Okay, have a nice night. Do that technique I told you guys every night this week, okay? Love you.